welcome to the channel. So this is week 9 of Christ in all of Scripture. So we'll go ahead and get started with the Old Testament passage. Exodus 3:13 through 15. Then Moses asked God, if I go to the Israelites and say to them, the God of your ancestors has sent me to you, and they ask me, what is his name? What shall I tell them? God replied to Moses, I am who I am. This is what you are to say to the Israelites. I am has sent me to you. God also said to Moses, say this to the Israelites. The Lord, the God of your ancestors, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, has sent me to you. This is my name forever. This is how I am to be remembered in every generation. So let's begin unpacking this. So we're going to highlight any words or phrases that point to Christ. So as you can see, I've already gone through and highlighted. So the God of your ancestors has sent me to you. I am who I am. I am who has sent me to you. The Lord, the God of your ancestors, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob has sent me to you. And this is my name forever. This is how I am to be remembered in every generation. Make a note of any attributes of God. So I have gone through this passage and noted self-existent, eternal, sovereign, self-sufficient, omnipresent, immutable, faithful, and truthful. So the next is circle each instance of the phrase I am. So he says I am, I am, I am, and I am. And then underline each time the word name is used. So I have what is his name underlined there. The next part is highlight any other repeated phrases. So I double underline those. The God of your ancestors has sent me to you. So we have has sent me to you. He says the God of your ancestors down here and has sent me to you again there. All right, so the next thing that I want to go through is kind of all of the research and things that I found. So I am who I am is connected to Yahweh. It appears more than 160 times in Genesis. Moses' mother, her name was Jochebed, and that also means Yahweh is my glory, and the other word for Yahweh is Jehovah. You can also find other instances of I am in John 8:24, 28, 58, John 13:19, and John 18:4 through 6. So walking through the passage a little bit, where he says, I am who I am. Jesus has also said, I am. That's how he had referred to himself. I am is God is completely independent and eternal, which is why over here I've got eternal listed. Also here, this I am, he has sent me to you. Isaiah 45:6 is another place where you can find a reference to this. And down here he says his name is forever. Eternal faithfulness of God to his covenant is what that refers to. And also here about the Israelites. After 400 years in Egypt, now time to go to Canaan, the promised land, Genesis 17 through 7:8. The name I am invites us to fill in the blank to meet our need. So for example, when we are in darkness, Jesus says, I am the light. So there's a lot of references here. And when we talk of God of Abraham, Exodus 3:6, Matthew 22:32, Acts 7:32. This is my name forever. We have Psalm 135:13, Psalm 12:17 through 19, Psalm 102:12, Hosea 12:5. And then also over here, we have the Moses asked God, Matthew 1:21-23, Isaiah 9 through 6. And then also this version here, Exodus 6:3, Isaiah 44:6, and Hebrews 13:8. So that is everything for the Old Testament. There was a lot to unpack there, a lot of things that you can look up. All right, so moving on to the New Testament passage. This is a smaller passage and there's a lot around it, so I recommend reading before and after this 57 to 59. So this is John 8, 57 to 59. The Jews replied, "You aren't 50 years old yet, and you've seen Abraham?" Jesus said to them, "Truly I tell you, before Abraham was, I am." So they picked up stones to throw at him. But Jesus was hidden and went out of the temple. So in John, there are 7 instances where Jesus alludes to his own divinity. And this is one of them where he says, I am. So I am is a title of deity, and it means eternal God. Also up here where he says they aren't 50 years old, how have you seen Abraham? A lot of times through scripture, they always took Jesus's words very literally, even though that's not how he meant them. So they didn't really understand what he was saying, and they had refused to obey. So when he was saying he's seen Abraham, it's because he is eternal. He was there before, after, and he will be there forever. So that's why they didn't understand why he said he saw Abraham, and he says before Abraham, meaning he existed before. So they picked up stones to throw at him. Why did they do that? Because he was saying he was basically God. They felt that was blasphemy. And so a couple references is John 10, 30 through 33 and Leviticus 24, 16. It was another example of Jesus's enemies attempting to arrest or kill him. And of course, in the end, they did arrest and crucify him. Jesus was hidden and went out of the temple. They wanted to kill Jesus, but could not because his hour had not yet come. Luke 4:30, 24, and 31. So this is because this was not part of God's plan. Jesus needed to make it to the time of crucifixion in order for God's plan of salvation to be complete. So a couple other references we have here is Colossians 1:17, John 1 through 2, and that is talking about truly I tell you before Abraham was. And then of course we have all of these references here for the deity and eternal God. Isaiah 44, 6 through 8, Isaiah 48, 12, and Revelations 1:8. So as you can see, what I've highlighted here is what I feel points back to Christ. I mean, pretty much all of it kind of points back, but those were the things I felt were the most important. Make notes of any attributes of God: self-existent, truthful, sovereign, holy, incomprehensible, patient, omniscient. I circled the phrases I am, and I underlined the phrase before. So it says, read John 8, 48 through 59. So these are the verses prior to this passage, 57 to 59, including that passage. Why are the Jews questioning Jesus? So what I found was because he states whoever obeys him will not taste death. Yet Abraham and prophets died, and they say, are you greater than Abraham? Who do you think you are? So he's basically saying that whoever obeys him will not die, but he's not meaning it literally. And so they say, yeah, but Abraham did die, right? And so who do you think you are? Which Old Testament patriarch does Jesus mention? So he mentions Abraham. And why might this be significant? And so what I had said was to show that Jesus is eternal. He existed before Abraham. What does Jesus' statement reveal about his nature, and who is Jesus claiming to be? So he's God. He existed before Abraham. He is eternal, and he's self-existent. And why did they try to stone Jesus? It was due to blasphemy. That is what I got out of these for week 9. So please comment. Let me know what you think. If you found anything else, if you have any other thoughts, I'm really interested in knowing. Thanks again for spending the time with me. Have a blessed day, and don't forget to like and subscribe.